ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. I'm Fern. We got Joelle on the ones and twos, Ryan in the house, Mike is in the house, Mimi is joining us via Zoom. She is in New York, and our social media rock star, digital marketing professional, account executive, all around social media badass is none other than Megan Gerace with GravityFree.
Hello.
Yeah. I forgot a couple of things, Megan. Don't judge me.
So many times we've said this has been brought to you by GravityFree.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Is
brought to you by GravityFree.
Yeah. This is legit.
And you forgot Google Insider, SEO Master. Like, she is the digital diva
No,
herself.
I don't think you realize.
I have a question.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Let's go.
How many 5-star reviews does it require in order to go up another notch?
Joelle has been waiting for this to come up on the podcast because we have that answer.
Okay.
Let's
Why are
hear
you
it.
keeping it a secret?
Yeah,
Because we were
seriously.
saving it
Well,
for
no,
the
Megan-
podcast.
Megan
Oh,
knows-
well, I
So,
think Megan, I want to hear Megan's first.
It's a lot, and it's depending on how many reviews you currently have. So if you already are established and you have hundreds of reviews, it could take upwards of 350 reviews to even go up a point 1%.
Why is-
Listen.
That is so fucked
Yes.
up.
No,
Why
listen.
is that?
That
First
math
of all, you
doesn't
will
math.
never be a 5 if you don't get the ones removed. Number one. You'll
Exactly.
never go back
But
to
wait a
5 if you
second.
still have
Mike.
ones.
How do you get them removed?
This is-
Number two.
This,
Go ahead, Mimi.
this is super crucial. Immediately begged Megan to come on, not just for this question, but when we were at Next Gen, we were in a session and they were talking about Google reviews and about how basically Megan's GravityFree helps filter the good reviews so that you only get the 5-star reviews. Well, long story short, I say my whole thing. I'm like, look, we got this one review or a couple reviews that just don't make sense. And she's like, well, you have to, flag them and tell Google that there's a conflict of interest. So Megan goes, and I'm telling this, and she goes, okay, well, I've tried that, but whatever. Megan, because she is the ultimate baddie, went on, and she, during the session, starts flagging them. And I think because she's got Google Pool, we might get those removed. So Mike, we need to thank Megan so much because
Go,
hopefully they get
Megan.
removed. But
Go,
if not,
Megan.
he
Listen.
also said that we can rally and get 350 other people to review.
Before you say anything, she was almost exactly right. It's going to take about 360 reviews to get us back to a 4.9.
Why?
That's abusive.
Because that's how math averages work.
No, that math does not math.
Yeah, that is not math.
That's not
That's
math.
bullshit is what that is.
That's bullshit math.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Chinese math.
This is that new math that you guys, it's that new
Yeah,
kid math.
using
that you don't know.
abacus.
Yeah,
Well-
it's that new math.
Well, I'm gonna
bullshit.
bump in real quick. I'm gonna bump in real quick and say, I guess maybe we should come back to our roots and open Jet Fresh New York, because over here, Michael Black is a legend, guys. This morning, Carlos and I met downstairs at 5:30 in the morning because we had to come and get some last minute stuff.
You were late.
At 28th Street.
5:30.
Yeah, seriously. The
slacking.
flowers were done by then.
Yeah,
Did you get a
5:30,
bacon,
you're
egg, and
late.
cheese? That's a question.
Yeah.
We need to
I
know.
And a
did.
coffee.
I sent Ryan the picture. I said, you got to show Mike. And I also
Did she get the
also
coffee
drove
in the cup?
New York.
Oh,
no,
what
because
kind of
it's
I
bootleg
didn't get
cup
I
a
is
didn't
different
get a-
cup. It's not the blue
What
cup.
kind of
That's-
bootleg
it's not
cup
the
is
Greek
that? What
cup.
kind
You
of
went to the
bootleg
wrong
spot?
spot.
Because
No.
apparently I didn't know you have to order a large coffee to get the blue cup.
No, the cup says it's our pleasure to serve you, and it's kind of written in Greek.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's the Greek one. Yeah, but you had to get the large, and I got a small because I had already had coffee at the market.
So
But
Mimi
anyways,
is
long
in New
story
York
short-
for the Botanical Garden show with Carlos from Pedal, just so people
Nice.
know what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'm calling you guys in from the back room, so there's not so much chaos, but it's crazy. But I get to 28th Street, and every time I said Jet Fresh, everybody's like, Michael Black? Gary Page was like, oh my gosh, so many. I was inside a random place and said something, and he's like, Mike's dad was actually at my wedding. and they were all talking about like you guys, and they're like, man, you guys are doing such great things. People knew about the new building, about the new farm. So anyways, then I get here to the Botanical Gardens, and well, I get to the plaza, and I feel like Macaulay Culkin, completely lost. And
Did you run
finally,
into
I'm setting
Trump?
up with Carlos. No, I get into I get no, no we there was another story about in front of Trump Towers, what was going on there, but whatever, that's not neither here nor there. So, which is right across, right? So, so that's where I almost fell and biffed it. But
There'll be
also,
no
guys, I
political
drove in New York.
conversation.
No, there was
You guys are all
I
over
drove
the
in I drove in New York in the rain, trying to get to a place that was less than zero point 0.5 miles away, and it took me like 45 minutes because I couldn't make a right turn, Mike. You would have been laughing hysterically. So, anyways, long story short,
You put your signal on, and then you turn the wheel to the right, and then you can make a right turn. It's pretty.
you can't. People are laughing over here. No, you cannot do that because the bus lane is on. There's 2 lanes that are just for the buses.
No. You just have to do it until everyone to fuck off. That's how it works in New York City. You just
You do it
have
till
an
you get in
expedition.
trouble. Until you get in
It's an
trouble, it's
expedition.
legal.
Joelle knows what it's like to drive with me. I'm driving an expedition in
Who
the rain.
drives in New York
with
City anyway?
scooters
Why
and
did you get a
people.
car? What do you need a car for?
Because Carlos needed all of
I
his
did-
structures
well,
and
because
flowers and
Carlos
stuff
had a
delivered to the
coffin.
thing.
Oh,
So Carlos did get the FedEx stuff and all
Long-
that fun
okay.
stuff.
This was supposed to be
Well,
Carlos's
anyways,
car.
so fun stuff. Yeah, but I had to drop Carlos off. Anyways, long story short, I'm going to leave you guys for Megan's episode, but I just had to say, I got my bacon, egg, and cheese. I had my coffee. I drove. And every time I tell people where I'm from here, I'm super proud because everybody knows and they all say, oh my God, I love your marketing. I love your flowers. I love your stuff. And they all know what's going on. So I just wanted to call into the podcast and first welcome Megan because she was my guest. But I'm just reporting over here and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But I've been going live on social media, so I'll send you guys more stuff.
Awesome, Mimi. Kick some butt out there. Have fun. But please don't drive in New York City.
yeah, don't drive.
It's dangerous.
Bye, my fatties. I'm not driving anymore.
Bye.
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 Bye,
Take care.
Megan. Thank you for coming on.
You ever drive in New York, Megan?
No. Public transportation in cities for me.
Where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Port Charlotte, Florida. So that's like a super tiny town. We don't.
In between,
When I go to a city, it's
in
anxiety.
between Fort Myers and Bradenton, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the town where Robert De
pulled.
Niro was in that movie and he was like a crazy guy? It was Port Charlotte. Yes, it was.
Was it?
Google it. Yep, Google it.
I do know that the first Tarzan was filmed in like Port Charlotte, like on the Myakka River over here.
The
So
first
Cool.
TV show or movie?
TV show.
Wow, the original Tarzan.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Let me hear you do your Tarzan impersonation, Fern.
Can I do a Tarzan?
It's the
Impressive.
Joel. Add it to the board, Joel.
Yeah, and I want to make that my ring when he calls me.
That's great. That's
Can
part
you-
of that.
Oh, my.
Remember what happened to your singing lessons?
We got derailed.
Yeah.
Joel, I want to make that my ring when he calls me. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. Perfect.
Too funny. Too
love
funny.
We could sell it. That was really good.
So, Megan, we've been talking about you on several episodes. There's been a lot of fatties that are
Gravity free.
gravity-free super fans.
Yeah.
Super fans. And I mean, they preach the gospel. And everybody that I talk to that's on Gravity Free and people that aren't on Gravity Free have nothing great to say. The people that aren't on Gravity Free are normally just butthurt and jealous. Like, they only put one person per city and I can't use them. Which is you. I'm sure you hear this all the time, right? You know,
Yeah.
that's the normal thing you get. So before we get into all the things that you're doing, tell us how you got started.
Ooh, so I stumbled into the floral industry, actually. I was living out in California, and I was doing destination marketing out by Yosemite, like marketing 2 lodges right out the front of Yosemite. And I
Did you
took
go
a year
there?
off
Did you go?
all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
I spent spent like
Gotta be
5
She's
years.
a hiking enthusiast. So you go and you hike. You were hiking through Yosemite at this time?
Hiking, backpacking, doing all the
Awesome.
things. No,
I've never
no
been
So
there.
awesome.
I've only been there on the YouTube. I've never been there in person.
It's, if you believe it, it's better than the pictures and the videos make it look. It was one of those places. I went out for a summer job and I just ended up staying out there. I was like, I have to see what it looks like in fall and what it looks like in winter. And then 5 years later, I was still there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I decided to take a year off of working, and I was going to hike the PCT. So like from Mexico to Canada. And I was
Whoa.
hiking
Oh wow.
with a group of people, really close friends that I had met out in Yosemite. And I was about 200 miles into my year-long hike, and I decided that my brain needed work. Like I could not just walk all day every day.
Like Forrest Gump, just keep running.
She stopped and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go home now.
I'm gonna go home now. Work.
Exactly what happened. I was like, well, this has been fun. I think I'm gonna go. And my family is based out of Florida, so I came back and I just started applying for jobs. And I wasn't really like taking anything too seriously because I was calling it my first retirement, and I was having really a lot of fun traveling and visiting friends all over.
Nice.
And I took an interview at GravityFree, and if you believe it, in the job description, it doesn't mention flowers once.
It just says marketing, social media, stuff like that. What?
Exactly. And so it wasn't until the first interview where John Barron, our second in command, was like, so we specialize in florists and all we do is flowers. And he's like, is that a problem for you? And I'm like, in the interview, I was like, no, that's not a problem. And later I was thinking about it as we're like, the process is going on. I'm like, there could be so much worse things to market. And so I accepted the job and I started in the floral industry. And it wasn't really until I attended my first SAF Next Gen event that I was like, the floral industry is insane and so wide and such a developed industry with so many different pieces and moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
And instantly I was like,
so it was Next Gen that got you kind of hooked?
It really solidified my commitment. GravityFree is a great organization, but like understanding the floral industry more is what really sold my buy-in to like want to stay and make it as great as it can be. So.
Was that the first Next Gen convention, the first one here in Miami?
Yeah, I remember I got a text message from Nicole Palazzo, the Next Gen queen herself, and she was like, I think you should really come to this. And I was like, it's in Miami. It's only a short drive. So me and Chris, I know you've had him on the podcast before. Chris drove down there together. And the entire time I was there, I was like, Chris, this is insane. No, why don't we talk about this more? This is wild how big this industry is. And like, there's so many moving pieces.
All the GravityFree people had those cool outfits on, right? They had the
first time, right? The tracksuits,
tropical tracksuits.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Can you remind the fans what GravityFree is?
Yeah.
So we are an e-commerce and digital marketing agency that specializes obviously for retail florists. So we have what's called Flower Manager, and it's an e-commerce / CMS for selling retail flower bouquets. And then when you buy into the website, you do get an area of exclusivity. So like nobody in your area can have that same website. And it's beneficial for them because nobody's going to have the same look and feel as their website, but also it's super beneficial for GravityFree because we're not competing against ourselves. So we can take an idea that works well in one area and apply it to another area without like a conflict of interest or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there an ideal customer or size for like a flower shop or something that GravityFree specializes in?
We tend to say that
Do you need to qualify in some way?
It's not necessarily about qualifying, but we are looking for like partners that want to grow, because GravityFree isn't just a switch that gets flipped and all of a sudden you're a super successful florist, right?
I heard it was.
Well, it's just as important for them to be as active on our platform as it is for us to do everything we're doing. The partners that succeed the most are the ones that are innovating, they're creating their own collection, they're going out and creating partnerships within their community. And those are all things that we get to build on at Gravity Free. So without that solid base, there's nothing for us to really stand on.
Mm-hmm.
So
We
it
only
works.
get-
It works best when your partner works as well. They're not just expecting you to do all the work. If you guys are both working, then you're successful.
Absolutely, yeah. We've had small florists join our platform and get even bigger. We've had big florists get on our platform and grow even bigger. So it works for all sizes as long as it's an active partner. Yeah.
Very cool.
So when a guy like me wants to send flowers and I don't know anybody in a particular city and I look for florists in a certain zip code or in a certain town, would the gravity-free florist pop up first? Like would I usually see that? Are you guys like always kicking those other guys' butts, or how does that?
Well, that's why Mimi was describing her as a Google specialist.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It's definitely our goal for our florists to pop up first. And Google's always changing, and there's so many different things that now are placed on top of organic ads. And that's why having something like Gravity Free, where you have the whole suite, we're not just focusing on one channel. So we do organic, we do paid ads, we do the content and social media, email. So when you Google, now you've got shopping ads that pop up. You've got the typical search engine ads. You even have the map pack. So, and then the organic results are there.
Does Google give classes to people to learn how to use it and make it the best they can, or they want you to figure it out because they don't want you to know? How does that really work?
So there are certain classes that you can take, and they offer free certifications directly with Google that you can take. But it's really a lot of guess and check and experimenting and figuring out how other people are leveraging those things, because there's always a way to hack the algorithm. It's understanding what's being prioritized, and it changes so quickly. You really have to stay up on top of it, because what's working today might not work tomorrow.
Nice. That's true.
The other day, I was Googling a certain vitamin that I need to take. And I Googled the vitamin, and then the next couple days, when I looked at my phone on my social media, I was getting ads for that vitamin. And I looked for the vitamin on my office computer. How the hell does it know on my social media on my cell phone that yesterday I looked for that vitamin on Google in my office computer? How does it follow me? How does it know?
Well, I'm going to assume that you probably have your work email on your work computer and on your phone.
The address, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So everywhere you go on the internet, there's about 1 million tracking codes that are embedded on these sites, and they're for everything. They're for Google, they're for Facebook, they're for Meta, they're for Pinterest. Any website that does advertising now has a tracking code, and these individuals will install it on their home pages, anywhere on your site. And as long as those tracking codes are installed on the website, and as long as you don't have tracking disabled, or you a blocker disabled on your browser, it's tracking you, and it doesn't matter what device you're on.
But because of my email address, it's tracking me?
Yeah. It's going to track your email address. It's going to
Just
track
email address.
Is that
It's
when
your
you
social
go,
media?
Is
It's
that when
everything.
is that when you go on a website and it says accept these cookies? You're really accepting them to track you, right?
No, so cookies are a completely different world too. Cookies are what lives within the browser. These tracking codes, they're past cookies. There's certain things, for example, I know Apple and iOS disabled a lot of the tracking codes. So if you're looking for more secure browsers and something that's not going to track you as much, you can use Safari. But the cookies live directly within the browser. So the next time you come back to that website, it's going to show you similar things, or it's going to have items preloaded on your website.
That
So,
I
like,
know about, because when you look for a plane ticket, right,
The price goes up.
and you don't buy it,
Yeah.
when you go back, the price went up. At one point, I was told when I book a flight to do it in the incognito, but that
Yeah.
don't work anymore. They're on to you with that. That doesn't work anymore either. It doesn't allow you
Yeah.
to get in there. So, wow.
Incognito is not as invisible as they like us to feel.
No, it doesn't work. It did
Yeah.
work for a little while, but it doesn't work anymore. So now when I look for a flight, I don't go to the airplane website. I go to Google Flights, check out the flights, and then and only then, when I choose what I want.
Do you go to the American Airlines or
Well, that's
whatever?
how- that's where it takes you.
No, you don't go there. You have to click through the Google part, because if you go out of the Google part and just go to the airline itself, the price is different. They
It's
know
all
you-
a setup.
I think it's because, like, they know I'd pay more for a better seat, or they know I'd pay. They know I would, like, if it's just $100 difference or something between a round trip business ticket or $200 maybe, I'll buy it because it's worth it to me. But I think they know that, right? They know that they're watching me.
Oh yeah, they have a whole profile on your shopping habits and your tendencies.
Who are
And what
they? Who are they?
It's Megan, GravityFree.
GravityFree.
I'm sorry to take you off the track, but I'm
These are great.
intrigued.
These are great questions.
Like, I think more people my age want to know this stuff. I'm not alone. I couldn't possibly be alone.
Yeah. I mean, it's depending on who you're interacting with, because Meta's profile is and how they track their data and what they're tracking for is a little bit different than how Google like builds their data profiles on people. And what's interesting is, so say you're coming to the website and you're buying flowers regularly, they're not going to advertise necessarily to you specifically. They're going to build their profile off of people who are similar to you. So people who do similar actions, whether that's like how you interact with your social media or the other websites that you engage with, they're going to be like, all right, so the ideal flower buyer does XYZ. And so we'll find other people that also do XYZ, and we'll display ads to them to get them in the flower buying funnel. So,
Jesus, this is really,
Yeah.
it gets deep, man. There's a lot of stuff.
I know sometimes when I see an ad and I'm like, dang, they got me in their funnel.
You
They
know,
who-
I think in social media, if you like something, like a product, that also will start throwing that product at you
Yeah.
a million times.
Yeah, for
Or
sure.
yeah, if, or
Your
if
algorithm
you,
changes.
or if you click.
What is an
even if you
algorithm?
accidentally
What is
click.
that
It's
exactly? Is it a heartbeat for a computer? Is it a computerized heartbeat? Is that what that is?
It's
I mean,
like-
you could consider it the heartbeat of like
Yeah.
the software, the like whatever platform you're on, but it's essentially, yeah, like it's like the brain. It's how they compile all those data pieces and what they value more.
So fascinating.
Yeah, and it's always.
Did you
every
watch
day
the
it's-
Facebook movie?
Yeah.
They draw it on the board before they made the website. That's the algorithm. Like how the website works,
Yeah.
how it operates.
It's a big long equation
Yeah.
of what data points they value more and like.
Would
what-
you guys say that the algorithm is like AI based now with today's technology, as fast as it evolves?
probably for some apps.
That was my next
Yeah.
question.
Like
Oh, great minds
TikTok
think
has
alike.
like the best algorithm in terms of like for your feed.
Yeah, I mean, you can even see on Google now, when you Google, AI pops up with the very first response
Mhm.
before
Yeah.
even all the,
I get
Thing.
great answers
And you-
from that.
yeah.
Great
So,
answers.
like,
Well, it's
So that's
it's
something
searching
that-
for you. It's giving you like an actual Google response that's from the list. It's like doing the search for you almost.
Exactly. And that's like a concern for people like me, because it's like, okay, so how do we get people to scroll past that initial response and then click into
Hmm.
buy from us, you know.
Or
So
how do you become the one that it
the
chooses?
answer.
How do you be the
Yeah.
one that gives the answer from that? Because it sources the answer from a website.
Yeah.
And you can click that website and read more about that answer that it's giving you.
So like this morning, Dan came to me and like we're like so tight on the budget with the move, and the cameras thing came up with the new cameras because we're not taking these old dated cameras with us.
Sure.
So he's like, I needed your permission to go for the V4 over the V2. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't know what he was talking about. He goes, I knew you weren't going to know. That's why I want to explain it to you that this certain kind of camera is more advanced than the other side of camera. And it's like, for the amount of cameras we got, it's like a huge amount of money difference. And I'm like, so I asked him, I said, what is the difference exactly? What is the benefit? Is it something that we need? And then I said, you know what? Don't answer me. And I just asked, like in the regular Google bar, I said, what's the difference between the V2 and the V4 cameras, and how does it benefit?
Yep.
And AI gave you a
I got all the
response.
answers.
Yeah.
It has a more clear picture. It could track your face. It can...
It probably pulled that from this
license
website of
plate
this, of the thing.
reader. It's like has all these benefits that don't really specifically help us, but it does kind of help us because if you want to know if a certain person was in the building at a certain time, the number 4 has AI that can automatically follow you with the cameras. Like you can move from 20
And give
different
you
cameras.
a story.
It will follow you. It will find your face and it will follow you along. So I said, shit, for that, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because we'll be
I mean, it's
behind.
even-
In 5 years, we'll be behind.
Yeah, you'll even see it on your on like web cameras on computers now. They like if you move around, they'll like follow you around, and that's all AI. That's
Oh, that thing's AI? We have that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Sensor based, but yeah.
yeah.
They're everywhere, aren't they?
So we
I
got to
mean-
get back on track, guys. We got to get back on track. Now,
They're watching us.
When did you start working for Gravity Free, and how long were you working for them before you made it to your first next gen?
So I started at GravityFree in September of 2019, and when was
Right before the fun stuff.
Yeah. And so that was fun to get to see like the industry kind of blow up during that time. But the first next gen was what in 21. So, right? Because this was
been
the
Yeah,
fourth one.
August. It was August of 21.
Yeah.
So it was almost 2 years. You were almost
Yeah.
with the company for 2 years. You went through COVID. You saw what was almost the decline and then like the big boom.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And a crazy time.
And so at that point, what were you doing for Gravity Free, and what was your understanding of florists? Because I know that next gen can be like, I would call that moment like flower life altering, right? Meeting everybody
absolutely.
and seeing the passion, and you're in a room and there's people. Oh, I'm a 5th generation. I'm a 4th generation. And it's different. It's a different crowd of people.
Yeah. So at that point, I was the director of social media for Gravity Free. And I had just become an account executive. So I was starting to work with like more florist one-on-one, like on all of the different channels that we help them with. And so that moment where I'm crafting social media campaigns and kind of navigating how our team is presenting these florists online. And it was really sales driven at that moment, and sitting at NextGen and listening to all these different presentations and like learning about all the different areas of the floral industry and how much goes into beforehand. I'm like, I think we're doing it wrong. I think there's a lot more we could be sharing, and a lot more things that are interesting to the consumer to help them understand what goes into like making these beautiful flowers and like the cost behind the beautiful flowers and why buying from a local florist is so important because of all the different things that they're supporting before that flower even gets into the vase. So it was one of those moments where you're like, just explosions the entire time. I think I was like, notebook. I was like, we're doing this wrong.
So that's pretty amazing. So that pretty much changed your outlook and how you wanted to pitch things, right? It was a totally different pitch after that.
Absolutely. And that was the moment, like coming back and talking with the whole GravityFree team and being like, guys, this is super important, and how we can infuse that in not just social media, but like on our email campaigns, on the website, the type of content we create for our florist and all those different things. At that point, it was just kind of like, let's kind of break it. Let's make things a little bit more interesting, and let's feature some of the other pieces of the puzzle.
Agreed. Someone had a question in the Next Gen chat, and they got some answers, but I see that they were hungry for more. And the question was, does anybody have like a mapping or video that shows, flowers from start to finish, from the grower and everything and all the processes that it takes to get them in.
Breeder to customer.
Yeah.
That's the book, the children's book we're going to do. Remember? Mommy, Where the Flowers Come From?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a necessity. There is some understanding. There is some, knowledge that you get there. But even in the breeding alone, the thousands of different codes and plants that they go through every year just to be able to say, hey, we can take one or two of these commercial. It's amazing.
Yeah, but they're also coming out faster than you can make a decision. Like by the time you decide on one new variety, there are like 10 more that, oh, maybe I want that one. You can't ever make up your mind. It's just too much, too fast.
Yeah. In the panel that you ran, Mike, at NextGen this last go round, like hearing from the breeders about like the process of tweaking them and like modifying the strands of the different flowers. I think that's so interesting to like think about how sustainability can start even before the flower is grown. Like we're trying different things and modifying plants so that they're more resilient. And I don't think people, when they think of sustainability, it's like a box, but there's so much other things that's happening in the industry. And I think like making a more well-known journey of how flowers start to finish would help a consumer understand like the cost behind that flower.
For sure.
Like
for sure.
What's going on. I think that would be really cool if we could get like breeders, growers, importers, wholesalers, everything like from start to finish, like to partner up.
There's going to be like 10 videos now after that chat. All the companies in that chat,
everybody's going to put
their
one
marketing
together
team, like,
for sure.
Put this video together.
Yeah.
Right.
Zoe wanted to do that video.
Yeah, she's not alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
well, I'm excited to see what comes from that conversation.
It's coming, yeah, that'll come.
It'll come. That's why it popped in my head. Mimi had mentioned earlier on the reviews, and I'm sure you read some of our reviews, and the lady who was upset because we decided to sing Happy Birthday. There's been a couple erroneous reviews, I would call them, or people just not understanding our business. How do you keep up with things like that for your customers? And you said it, what works today might not work tomorrow. How do you stay on top of all that?
Yeah. So with reviews, we actually use a platform called Yext because you also know like reviews are coming from so many different places. Every platform has their own way to review you. So we use Yext to kind of collate all of those reviews and make sure that we're not missing anything. We have it linked to social media accounts because you can recommend somebody on Facebook now. We have it linked to Yelp, and that's important because Yelp fills in Apple.
You were telling Mimi at the show that Yelp is like the Apple Maps.
Don't say that. Our Yelp sucks.
So
you said our Yelp doesn't matter.
I was hoping that Yelp would be gone by now. I didn't think Yelp stood a chance of surviving.
Even I use Yelp.
Yeah.
I personally don't
See,
enjoy Yelp.
I only use Yelp for restaurants.
We only
That's what
have
I'm
bad
saying,
reviews
like,
on Yelp.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a normal customer going on Yelp to leave a review for us. That's the problem.
We got a bad review, Megan, by some guy who also gave a review for a Stone Cold Creamery. Some 16-year-old kid didn't meet his expectations, and he went on and he made a bad review of the Stone Cold Creamery because there's some young kid that was trying to make some gas money and pay their insurance for their car.
You know, I don't know how bad it could be, because even if it took forever, even if the guy was rude, the moment you get your ice cream, I mean, it all goes away. How could you have a bad time at Cold Stone? Seriously.
Well, we always say that you never see the average customer on review sites. It's only the person who had the worst experience or the best experience.
Yeah.
So it's always, how do you get the person in the middle to write the reviews? Because they're gonna show like what your company is like on a day-to-day basis. And so sometimes the negative reviews are just impossible to remove, and it's about crafting a response so a future customer is reading it and they're like, oh, okay, this person was just unreasonable, whether it's like talking about what went wrong or what went right and the things that you tried to resolve that for that person, or just emphasizing your process, and or if your team actually did make a mistake, admitting it and talking about how moving forward you're going to do better. That's always helpful. It's interesting because
It's helpful to get the reviews up in points. Is there somebody who reads them and judges them in Google World somewhere? I mean, who decides whether it can come off or not? How does that even process work?
A lot of that's AI at this point. It's automated, but there's different things that you can do. For example, when I was talking to Mimi at NextGen, one of the reviews was like a contract employee that like worked an hour at your place and was released. Like, so we left that review, 1-star review.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a conflict of interest. When you have an employee review your business, immediate conflict of interest. And you can report that. And the more people who report that as a conflict of interest, the better. So like every so often we might get a review that's nasty and a conflict of interest for our florist. And our team shares it out to all 22 of the GravityFreeers, and we're all in there reporting it. And we're encouraging our florists to do it. And 9 times out of 10, we do get them removed.
Oh, wow. We got to do that.
I know. I reported one that I reported it for hate speech because they said the person in the fat girl in the back. And by doing that, they removed the review. I report all of them.
Yeah.
I always report
But I guess doing it in masses makes more sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot more sense.
There's always, it's more in numbers, because the more reports it gets, you're essentially training, because it is an algorithm. There's an AI back there. There's some people, but it's a lot less people than needed really to review these things. So the more you report, the better you're training that software to acknowledge like when there is an issue with your reviews. So I know one of the reviews was about that I reported for Mimi when we were talking was somebody came to your warehouse and tried to purchase, but they weren't a wholesaler.
Right.
So you guys directed them to a different spot, which is like A+, here's an alternative. But they didn't like the flowers they bought from the other spot, so they left a negative review for you guys.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. That's not helpful information. This isn't a review about your business.
Right.
Like the review about your business is, this is a wholesaler, but they directed me somewhere else. Like the negative part isn't on you. So not helpful information. There's like a few different things that you can report. And the more we train the software and the review system, the better. And that's why it's always report, get your whole team to report it. I was even telling Mimi, I was like, if there's review you're really struggling with. You have a giant flower community now. Send it out. Let's drop it in the WhatsApp. Let's post it in the groups. We need to be able to support people because sometimes there's super malicious people that are out there just reviewing and they don't realize
One
that
guy said it was his duty to report it.
Yes.
One guy
This is
said
my duty.
this is my, as a citizen, I have a duty to report these
That guy
things.
does citizen arrest too.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
We've seen some wild reviews, yeah.
Yeah, the reviews are fun. We haven't had a chance to mention that Megan had a big announcement happen at this past Next Gen.
Oh, what is that?
Yes.
What did I miss? Tell me.
Oh, well, I've got some massive shoes to fill. I'm the new chairperson of the Next Gen committee for SAS. Yeah.
Yes, she is replacing Nicole, the president.
Yep.
Hold on. Time out. Is Nikki P officially moving to Europe?
She's no longer a U.S. citizen.
She's no longer
she's
a
London-based
citizen?
now. She is London-based for the.
She's a red
No,
coat. She
no.
is a red coat.
No, I spoke to her. She's just staying there for a while. She really enjoys it.
Yeah.
She's a traveler.
She's having her London
She's
moment.
Yes.
she's living her best life, man. That's
Cheerio,
awesome.
good chap.
I think people would love to do what she's doing.
Definitely.
Good for her.
Go Nikki P.
But she needs an umbrella living over there. It rains over there all the time.
But yeah, congratulations, Megan.
Yeah, big
That is
congratulations.
awesome.
Thank you.
Listen,
I'm excited.
I think that Next Gen is like full of people that are jonesing for information, connections, to learn,
Mm-hmm.
And, I say it all the time. Leaders, owners, managers, you got to invest in that shit. You got to send your people there, man. The people that are highly motivated. I met some really smart young people that are just coming in or just taking on more responsibility, and they want to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know everything. And I mean, it has its other elements. There is the party side of it and having the good time with your friends side of it. But I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And
Work hard, play hard.
yeah, I really, every time I go, I get deeper in. I feel like it's more and more important every time.
Agreed.
That's pretty
Now
cool.
that you're mentor status,
Yeah.
mentor.
They
Love
gave-
that.
they gave him him and a few other people like these mentor badges on their thing. So it said like
Nice.
exhibitor, speaker, mentor.
Yeah. It's translates to old people.
That's what they. That's the ones who got the mentor badge. That's how they felt. They felt that they were being.
But it's
But
not. It's
no,
not.
it's not.
You have a world of knowledge that is crucial for people to tap into, even if they only get it for a couple of days and they have a few conversations. Mike, you are altering people's paths in the floral industry. You're giving them suggestions that worked for us, or a way that worked for us and helped us grow that might help them, or might help them avoid a mistake that you made or you might have made in the past. All that stuff is crucial. We look at you the same way as a mentor, not as an old person, but guide us, teach us, help us learn, help us be better so that we don't make the same mistakes. We're going to make other mistakes. We'll live, we'll learn, we'll grow together. That's a necessity. Mentors are absolutely needed in business, and you got to have a few mentors. And you got to learn a thing or two.
When I started my bouquet company, I went to the public library and I rented some VHS tapes on how to start a business and how to do a business. And one of those tapes had the lady from Esprit featured in it. I said, what a coincidence. That was like 35 years ago, maybe, something like that, maybe more. But I went to, they had this place called the American Association of Retired Professionals or something like that, where like there wasn't internet at that time. You had to make a phone call and go there. And
You had to go to the library.
no, I went there and it was, it was guys that were like executives in companies that were retired, but they wanted to share their knowledge and guidance with people starting a business, or somebody maybe already was in a business. They might even still exist, those kind of organizations. I think they're very good for get a volunteer. They don't charge you anything. It's free. And you just go and you have a coffee and tell them your concerns and they'll give you some guidance. I think that's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that's, is that still a thing, Joelle? Is it still out there?
So Megan,
Nowadays, they probably charge you.
Megan, does
everything's a charge. Nothing's
does
for free anymore.
account manager mean that you get specific clients and you're responsible for that 1 or 2 or 10 clients and they're your babies to build?
Yeah, so I've got about like 13 florists that I work directly with. And what I'm doing is just making sure that all of our specialists in the different channels, because like essentially they get a team. They get somebody whose specialty is SEO and their specialty is pay-per-click. And so they have somebody for each channel that's their specialty. And so as the account executive, I'm just making sure all the wheels are turning and that any special requests or anything fun that's going on for them or stuff like that is happening and that they're continuing to grow and be successful.
Definitely. I want you to tell these guys about the event you guys did.
Yeah. So we, every other year we host like a flower manager retreat and we invite all of our florists from all over to come and hang out with the GravityFree crew and learn a little bit about the platforms. We'll like roll out some fun things or our developer will be there with us and he's in the back. So as people are asking questions or saying, it would be really cool if it did this, he's in the back changing it. And so we actually hosted, I think 113 florists from 68 different shops across the country at the beginning of January this year. And we had them for about 4 days. And we took them to Selby Botanical Garden in Sarasota. And we had some really great informational sessions, some information sharing, kind of figuring out what our florists need from us and teaching them how to leverage the platform better and just getting some serious face time because spending time with the florist is how we continue to push the platform forward. It's like, what is the problem that you're currently having and how can we fix it? Like what doesn't make sense and how can we tweak it?
Yeah.
So.
4 days is a long time. You get them all
That's
to say all 4 days.
impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like a similar idea as Fresh Fest, like kind of like the idea of give back to the customers and learn more from them, let them meet the suppliers and vendors and things.
Yeah.
But very cool.
And it's cool too because like we kind of talked about before, when a florist is on our platform, they have exclusivity. So when all these florists come together, it's really exciting for them because they're like picking each other's brains just as much as they're picking like the GravityFree team. They're asking like, oh, so what are you doing on your platform? And like, how are you utilizing these features and getting to hear what other people are successful with. I'm sure I was talking to one of my florists the other day and they're like, we have such a long list from the retreat. And so we're just going to start checking through them. I'm like, let's go. I love this.
Man, I can imagine. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. So aside from the exclusivity, right? That's a really cool feature that you guys have for your members in the city. Aside from the exclusivity, what is the one thing out of your toolbox that every florist needs?
Yeah. So something that I think is just super invaluable is having a space where you can collate all of your data and analyze it better. We have all these different platforms. You have Google Analytics and you have Meta Insights and you have all these different like platforms that are providing you this like insane amount of information, even your like your e-commerce websites. But we utilize this tool called Dash This, and we create a dashboard where it has all of that information in one space, and it makes it really easy, especially with the advent of how Google Analytics went from Universal Analytics to GA4 previously, and
of course.
Yeah, it's completely different than what it was before. So we had our florists kind of coming to us and being like, I don't understand how this, like how to read this data anymore. So we have a dashboard that pulls in data from our call tracking, from Google Analytics, directly
I'd be
from the
so
website.
lost. That's so interesting. So
And so-
all these different florists, you're collecting information and showing it in one spot so you can help improve the greater, everybody be greater together because of the information that you're figuring out. Okay, we're weak here, we're strong there as a group, not as an individual.
Yeah, like where are we losing people in the funnel? How does that user experience impact them? Like what's going on?
How would you know that you're losing people in the funnel? Like how would you know that? Like how does that?
Yeah, it goes back to those tracking codes. And so just like Google and Meta are tracking people, we're also tracking people on Flower Manager sites, and we're seeing where they entered. So like if they entered from a search query, like what did they type into Google to find the website? And then once they get on the website, where are they clicking through? And once they get in the purchase funnel, so say they add a product into their cart, how far do they get? Do they get all the way through to completion, or are they dropping out like around add-ons? Like what's the problem? So we're always taking a moment and analyzing the data on the whole scale, like as the big picture, because it's all important. And
if that person that was, let's say they exited before they went to finalize the order and they went to a different website, are you able to see that too, where they went?
Not necessarily, but like based off of where they leave the funnel, we can kind of make assumptions. So for example, did they leave once they figured out how much delivery cost? Did they leave when they tried to select a delivery time and that wasn't available? Or did they leave when they got it all the way through the checkout process and you didn't have the proper checkout, like the payment option? Do you know like 89% of millennials will abandon a checkout process if you don't have their preferred payment option available? Like that's insane.
What was next?
It varies, but Apple Pay, PayPal, Venmo. We just added Venmo to Flower Manager website, so now you can check out with Venmo. So it's just kind of making sure that you have all of those pieces, and by looking at the big picture, we're able to like regularly evaluate and be like, okay, so we solved this problem. Now we see people dropping off here. What's that problem? Kind of picking it apart and doing a little bit of testing and figuring out what's going on there.
We were at some show and I heard them talking about how important the pictures are.
Of course.
Like the pictures, like the keeping it fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what people are using to buy off of. You see it with us. We don't sell things that doesn't have a picture and comment.
I know.
It works across the board. You don't buy anything on Amazon if it had no pictures. You wouldn't trust it.
No picture, you don't trust it. It's a
I
scam.
don't buy on Amazon if it doesn't have 4.5 stars or more.
Yeah.
And a picture.
So
and a demonstration
You're
video.
part of the problem then, because you're training yourself to only buy on Amazon at 4.5 stars. What does that do for people who got a bad review or something like that? It's got that 1-star review.
So if number one, 4.5 is like the easy buy. 4.5 is okay. It's got at least 4.5. It's got the right pictures, the right demonstration. But if it has under 4.5, and I can't find a vendor that has higher with enough reviews, then I dive into the reviews.
Then you go
why do
page
you
2
have,
or 3.
Why do you have 1-star reviews?
Right.
What are the 1 stars? And then I read the 4 stars, never the 5 stars.
Right.
I figured those are paid for.
I'm on the same page. I'm part of the problem too, because I also shop at Amazon like everybody else.
That's why I want us to grow, but with our stars. But to get another 400, I don't know.
Like
that's
and that's anticipating that nobody else is throwing 2s and 3s when they
we need a campaign to remove the 1-star review from that are a conflict of interest. The lady that was upset because they sang happy birthday.
Megan, I'm curious, like on the flower side of the business, it's kind of there's kind of like friendly rivalries. Is it the same on the tech side?
I would say
Because
it's
everybody looks
interesting.
like buddies at the show, but I wonder if it's similar to flowers where
It's I
Frenemies.
wouldn't say necessarily rivalries. Like, for example, because we have such exclusivity, like Gravity Free is there's so much space in the industry for everybody to be successful. So having a flower shop network website or having a Lovingly website, that gives you different advantages, and like so you can kind of navigate in different ways. Um, it's fun because we work with all of these people. We don't have a POS system, so we integrate into all of the major POS systems. We utilize things like FSN for florist to florist ordering and things like that.
Perfect.
So these are all our partners in reality, and it's I don't know. It's almost like a friendly competition in a way where when they do something that's really cool and successful, it makes us want to strive to be just as good. And so it's like we all are pushing each other forward to a certain level.
That's a good thing.
I have my Irving flag
you have your Irving flag.
on my desk. Yeah.
I have mine too. Yeah.
Yep, I brought mine back too. I actually brought two back so I could give
The
one to
shirts
Chris.
were hilarious.
The shirts
The
are
shirts
hit.
were
Yeah.
hilarious. Loved it.
Mimi late night with her little teeny tiny iron.
Yeah.
Did she tell you what Ian Prosser said to her?
No, what did he say?
He said, watching you with an iron and a margarita doing this, I need a Marlboro now.
For real.
Too funny.
Ian was impressed. Yeah, that was a good time.
Ian replaced Marvin now for Mimi.
What would you consider a little bit of bad about what you do?
So it's funny because we've been talking about it the entire time. Whenever I hear people complaining about like tracking or like, I think my phone's listening to me, I'm like, oh, that is actually what I do. Because social media is my specialty, and I'm like a big social media advertising person, and I know how all those little tweaks behind the scene can be utilized to get in front of different places. So sometimes I'll be like having dinner with my like family, and they'll be like, you'll never believe this happened, and I just have to sit there and be like, yeah, that's wild, but like I know exactly what demographics and how somebody targeted my mom and dad. I'm like, yeah, you're the key demographic for that.
So you are the little tracker behind all the little targeted ads. I love it.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think of Ryan's AI session?
I think it was so eye-opening to like how far it's evolved in such a short period of time, and how it's only going to continue to grow. And it was
It's evolved since I've done the presentation. It's evolved.
The video I
it's
made,
already
serious?
changing.
The video I made, 90% AI.
Wow.
yeah. And it's one of those things too where like we use AI in certain realms for Gravity Free, but we haven't dipped our toes as far into like video and imagery. And I was just thinking the entire time, I was like, this is gone past the point of like previously it was the concern was like, are those flowers going to look accurate and things like that? And now I don't think that's a worry. Like it's not as big of a worry as it was when it first started. So I was like, I think we need to revisit how we're approaching AI in our creative side at least. So
There's still a ways to go for sure, and there's so many different ones out there that we haven't even scratched the surface here. Like we're using 1-2 apps. There's thousands.
It's going to be bigger than electricity.
That's what they said.
That's crazy.
yeah. Well, and then it's like, oh, and then you have to start thinking, because they're always talking about sustainability with flowers. And we're like, oh, what's my social responsibility when it comes to AI? Because that's a whole other thing, all the water that needs to cool AI buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy and power and water to
run the machines, the servers, and all that fun stuff.
This morning when I was driving to work, I heard that on the news that Alexa is now AI and can like call you an Uber and could do all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I believe it. If it wasn't already there.
Should we or should we not,
So
Megan,
do you
be using Alexa?
Do you use it in your house is the better question.
Is it
Do you have
dangerous.
I like the look on her face.
She doesn't
right
use
now.
it in her
I
house.
wish
I don't use it in my
everybody
house
could
either.
see.
I don't like
wish
it.
I
everybody
use my
could see
Alexa
the look on
every
Megan's
single
face.
day. She turns on my lights. She turns off my lights.
Okay, so you got a
has my
smart
alarm.
room.
Yeah.
Okay, but
She's in
Yeah.
charge of
she
everything
also
in my house.
knows
Let her
everything.
answer. Let's see.
Well, I will say that it depends on who you want to have your data, right? So if you're okay with Amazon and everybody having that much data from you, then use it. If you're like an active Amazon user, there's no point in not using it. We took I bought into Alexa like right from the get. I was like, this is so exciting. But then I ended up taking it out of my house a couple of years ago, just because at that point it was starting to interrupt me when I was just talking regularly.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't like this anymore. So
It's like if you're having an argument with your wife.
Sorry, Fern. She's wrong.
Yeah. Or you open your social media and they have like books on how to get along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Pop
funny.
up.
Yeah.
It starts
Right?
telling
I
me
mean,
anger management. You need
Isn't that
anger
going to happen
management,
or
Fern.
is already happening? That's already like it's listening no matter what, right? It's listening to you.
yeah, well, and that's what it's trained to do, is to listen to you. I mean, even if you whisper sometimes, it'll be like, I heard you whispering, so I'm responding. in a
Yeah, she
whisper.
hears your whisper.
And you're like, oh, wow, that's okay.
Alexa, can you please turn
There's
on
no
lights?
getting away from it, really. So, I don't know.
As a goof, I told Alexa to beam up as Alexa, and it beamed me up. It did it. The Star Trek sound and everything.
Ryan, do you use the AI?
It knows a lot,
Bixby
man.
or anything on your phone?
Not really, no.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I'm
I
afraid
haven't-
of that stuff.
I know if I get the new Samsung, that it's going to be more integrated and it'll probably be easier to use, and more like they're pushing it probably on you a little more in the new one. But no, not really. WhatsApp though, Mimi uses a lot on the WhatsApp one.
Megan, iPhone or Android?
I'm Apple all the
Yeah,
way.
I figured.
Yeah.
That.
All right. There we go.
That's all right. No problems. I'm Apple, but everything but the phone. But it is annoying AirDrop. I wish Samsung did AirDrop because that would make everybody's life easier here.
It's just so nice to be able to like text on my work laptop. I don't even have to like transition. I'm just like, okay, let's go. Respond over here.
That's right.
So I got a lot of pressure because of the blue bubble or green bubble or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
With
Some people won't even
So,
text you.
Both of you are
was-
green bubbles. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
What is
Some-
that? What do you mean bubbles?
If when I like say you're in a group chat, iPhones the text boxes, the
Yeah.
bubbles will be blue, but when a Samsung writes it, it comes in green. Some people don't. They're like, oh, you're messing up my group chat.
Yeah, I've been kicked out of group chats because I'm
Because you're green?
Because I'm
Right.
green. Because I'm a Samsung user. So
Slimy green.
I looked into the new iPhone and I played with it and I was just like, I can't do it.
It's a complete. You have to relearn a phone.
Correct.
You have to,
You have to
learn the
relearn.
phone over.
I couldn't work it.
Okay,
That's a
so
fact.
as we are running out of time, before we get to the questions, there's something that I also we've been waiting to talk about on the podcast. So it turns out that Joelle was absolutely wrong. Free weights at the gym contain 362 times more bacteria than a toilet seat.
Good
See that?
Lord.
Damn.
Damn.
No wonder you're sick every other week.
I always
Sir,
wash
the-
my hands before I leave, though.
So just for the fatties, I called Joelle the healthiest,
healthiest
sick person I've ever met, and it's the gym. It's the 2.5 hours he spends
This
at
is
the
Joelle
gym
Megan,
every
so you can
day.
see him. He's out of camera, but yeah.
You'll probably see Joel at the free weights more than anything, right? You do the weights more than anything.
it's all even. Like,
It's all even.
yeah, I use it.
It's probably where the prettier girls are. That's where you are. Well, the new building we have everybody donating their gym equipment that they currently use to hang laundry on in their bedrooms.
Yes.
Everyone is donating them and we're going to have like 2 Peloton bikes.
Mhm.
We got an elliptical machine and something else. What is it?
Massage chair.
Oh, the massage chairs for the stress.
For the
That-
recovery.
That's
The
different.
recovery chair.
No, but we have all this stuff that people like bought it, paid a lot of money for it, and it's been sitting in their bedroom for 3 years just to hang the laundry on or whatever, donating it. And then we also have some showers in the new place so people be able on their breaks to work out, and there'll probably be a whole lot less germs as
right.
well.
Definitely less than the other one.
Yeah.
So one more question before we get into some questions. We already know that the bad is the tracking. Trackers are the bad. But now that you are on the board at NextGen, what do you see for the future of NextGen?
Yes.
She's
We were
been on the
talking
board
about-
really quick, just to make that clear.
She's the
She's
chair.
now the
She's the
chair
chair.
of the board. So
She's
she's
the chair.
running the
Oh,
next
you're
gen
run-
committee.
okay,
She's
boom.
essentially
My
leading the
bad.
meetings.
She's
and
going to
it's
keep all you other people in line. Make sure that
There's no keeping any of us in line.
because they rotate
how many
the
on
members.
How many on there?
15?
There's 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's a job.
four
to keep
are
everybody on
coming
there.
off this year, and then they need to bring 4 new ones on this
For
year, and then it'll keep rotating as we go. But okay,
So-
sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Chairman Megan.
Yes. So we talked a lot about this at convention, and it was really fun getting to talk to other people who aren't even on the committee and seeing what they want from NextGen. And something that, you guys touched on it a little bit at the beginning was mentorship. And we've been kind of throwing that around and how to better facilitate mentorship. There's so many people in the floral industry that have so much information to share. And so we were talking about developing some sort of database and pairing system for mentorship. We're talking about how to better advocate for new people to enter the industry. I know the Green Career Week is coming up and everything like that, but how
Seed your
can
future.
Yes.
seed your future? Yeah. How can we better support and spread awareness to the floral industry? So you can expect to see some fun social media initiatives from the NextGen committee and kind of showing all sides of the floral industry, because I think when you think of careers in floristry, you're thinking more of the people who are directly touching the flowers, like either designing or growing. What about the in-between? What about the marketing, the tech that goes into it? There's so many different levels of entry points. So kind of making sure that people understand how vast the industry is and actually consider it and take it seriously when they're looking forward to the future and what they want to do.
That's awesome.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
She's
lot
gonna
of
do great.
passionate people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like passionate, like they're really into it. They
Definitely.
really want to
Definitely.
When, and
make moves.
I'm a big fan of Jasmine, Seed Your Future. When me, Joelle, and Mimi, when we went to that high school and we were up there, those kids had some questions. They had some serious questions, and they had no idea, just like me. Before I got into the industry, I thought, floral industry was just florist. It was just florist, and everyone had a greenhouse with flowers in behind, and that's how flowers were done. Nobody understands, out of the industry how worldwide we are.
Oh,
where all
you're in the
flowers come
flower
from.
business. It must smell so nice. It must be so wonderful. They don't know that we work 7 days a week. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
That we.
They don't understand any.
Yeah,
of
they
that.
don't know.
It's crazy.
People have a different visual of what being in the flower business is, regardless of what part of the flower. Oh, you own a farm. It must be so nice.
It's a serious business, and I think a lot of people look at flowers and they're like, oh, it must be fun to play with flowers all the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, exactly.
That's not what it's about, but yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. So just making sure that people understand what's available in the floral industry, the different spaces, so that way we can capture some people that might not already be in the floral industry. That's what it's all about, is making sure that our awareness, the community is there. The NextGen community is big. She's beautiful and active. We have so many people who are so passionate. So now it's how do we enable the people who are in our community to grow within the industry? And then also, how do we attract new people to our industry? And those are two things that we're hoping to really focus on as we move forward.
Love that.
It's gonna go great. Yep. We gotta put a bow on it, but we end it with rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. In your opinion, what's the best sandwich?
Ooh, an Italian sandwich.
At the moment, what's your favorite flower?
Ranunculus.
Nice.
What is the scariest animal?
Mountain lion.
Mountain lion.
Mountain lion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Florida.
makes sense. Not a bear. Mountain lion over bear.
Well, mountain lions want to eat you. Bears are like coming at you if they're afraid.
Okay.
The hiker knows.
Yeah. Most underrated flower.
Oh, carnation.
Most overrated flower.
I don't want to that. Maybe baby's breath. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Baby's breath.
Okay.
If you could have lunch or dinner with a movie character, famous person, celebrity, anybody, historical
T-Pain.
figure,
T-Pain?
T-Pain.
Who the hell's that?
T-Pain.
Who's
T-Pain.
He's the singer rapper.
I met T-Pain in a club.
I'ma
It
buy
was the
you a
craziest
drink.
thing. I was with your mom actually.
It's a singer?
Yeah.
And we met T-Pain.
You've definitely heard his music.
You
was-
and my mom?
No. I was with Joel's
Oh,
mom.
Joel's mom.
We were at a club, Tantra, in Miami Beach, and I kick something on the floor. I pick it up. I look up, and T-Pain is right in front of me.
I want to hear a song from this guy. What does he play?
Play a song, Joel. Give him a
While
song.
he's looking up the song, Megan, why T-Pain?
Yeah.
His music.
I'm in
Well,
love
no.
with a stripper.
He's on so many songs. I don't
Yeah.
think like
You definitely
you
know.
understand how many.
He had a
songs.
run 1 year where he was winning all awards because he was in so many songs.
Why
that
don't I
year.
recognize the name? I
You,
don't know.
Play
the
a
moment
song.
you hear of his songs, you'll know exactly who. Like you've heard him. You've heard him all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip forward a little bit.
I've never heard that song.
If you don't know, T-Pain stands for
Say it
the pain
again?
it was to get out.
You cut off. Say it again.
T-Pain stands for Tallahassee pain.
Mhm.
The pain it was to get out of Tallahassee was where he grew up and everything like that. And I went to college in Tallahassee, so it's like
So did
heartstrings.
everyone. Everyone went to Tallahassee for college. What's going on in Tallahassee?
is the party school.
Yeah.
It is
Is
the
that what it
Florida
is?
party
All about
school,
the parties?
number one.
It's up there.
So
yeah.
many people I know went
Like-
to school in Tallahassee.
Like even people who didn't go to Tallahassee, you go to Tallahassee.
You
to
drive up
experience.
for the parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove up for plenty
Stay for
of
the
parties.
Oh,
weekend.
Casey used to go up there too
Yeah,
with his
course.
friends.
Of
everybody,
course. Everyone goes-
everybody went up to Tallahassee.
Like it's
to
worth
go
the 8
party.
hour drive.
Does anyone ever graduate from that place?
Eventually.
I mean, I graduated.
Wow.
Eventually. Yeah. Eventually. Yes. Okay. T-Pain. Great answer. Love it. What is your go-to late night drunk food?
Pizza.
Love it. Again.
Can't go wrong.
Agreed. What kind of flowers would you like at your funeral?
Colorful.
Color.
Just like super bright.
And if you can suggest a future guest for our show.
Maybe Mason from Karen's Flower Shop in Canada.
Linguini.
Linguini.
Yeah,
He's
Mason's cool.
I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot of Mason. He wants to get really active, and I think people in their young 20s who want to get active, we got to tap into them, and we got to foster them and give them the
You gotta
space
nurture
to.
that.
I think he
energy.
is 20, right? Or he's
I
19?
think he's 22.
He's
Okay.
smart as a whip, that guy.
Yeah.
He's very smart, and he knows his stuff already.
Yeah.
Me and Casey are going to visit him on our trip in July.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a good one.
He got to be buddies with
Carson,
Carson.
the Canadian cowboy.
They're paisanos. Yeah.
Carson's a legit cowboy.
Carson is a legit cowboy.
Like
he does
people
not,
are
No.
were no,
like
he's
that's
a
his
cowboy.
life.
He is-
He's a cowboy. That's
Yeah.
his life.
They're
like
both
he lives
real
it.
cowboys. No.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't know they had cowboys in Canada, but they
I
do.
didn't either. He's a
do.
legit one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan,
lives
if
the life.
someone wants to reach out to you, maybe they want to talk a little social media, how to remove, how to remove or get good reviews, or maybe,
sign up for Gravity Free.
Maybe they want to sign up for GravityFree, or maybe they're worried about being tracked. How can they reach out to you?
Shoot me an email. My email is Megan, MEGAN, @gravityfree.com.
Boom. This has been an awesome social media next gen episode brought to you by Megan at GravityFree. Thank you guys for listening so much. Have a great day.